Welcome to issue number 4 of the Infinite Backlog, a chronological tour of the best and most noteworthy Marvel comics. I'm your friendly neighborhood Andy, and with me are my two co-hosts, Maximum Shane.
Choo choo.
Okay, I didn't say Maximum Train.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said Maximum Train.
Sometimes I forget I'm not a train.
And the uncanny Rory.
Choo choo too.
There was no train possibility in the uncanny
Now we're
Rory.
a train. Now we're just two boys in a train.
We all got on the train together, I thought.
Oh, God. All right, fine. We're all on a train. And we're reading comics. Today's comics are going to follow the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange. And they take us from July through October of 1964. And I got to tell you, the most noteworthy things I could find that happened in those months were the Gulf of Tonkin incident and Bob Dylan introducing the Beatles to the wonders of marijuana for the first time. And I didn't know we had a special date for that. I didn't know that was like on a calendar somewhere that like in like
When the Beatles
August
got good? Yeah.
Yeah, August 1964 when the Beatles started smoking.
Yeah, because before they were doing like mom rock for
Right.
like
Love me do. And then afterwards they were like,
Lucy in the sky.
how are you guys doing? How's everything going?
This train's going full speed ahead, baby.
Do we have anything jumping out at us that we want to talk about?
I had the most fun with Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah. Spider-Man is always probably going to be the most fun. I was very intrigued by the Fantastic Four stuff that we got.
Unless we want to put Fantastic Four right immediately on the wall of shame.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Fantastic Four first because it's the worst. Yes.
No. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about it. We read the annual.
You can't just say no.
No. We read annual number 2 and we read issue 31, and the annual is very Doom centric. Dr. Doom.
I did like the Doom stuff, the first part.
Yeah, that was the best part.
Yes.
the part with no Reed Richards.
The part with no Reed Richards is the best part of Fantastic Four. Oh. No, I actually was really interested. I was unaware. I like we've said, we haven't read a ton of Marvel comics, and I was unaware that Dr. Doom was canonically Romany. Like, that's pretty crazy. I mean, obviously they use the word gypsy here in the 60s, but like, I didn't know that. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And for a second, I thought it was going to be really cool.
It's weird too, because at the time, gypsy as a slang has multiple connotations, and they don't really give you a lot to, but it does seem like he's pretty clearly trying to be a sort of a Romani gypsy. I would agree.
It's interesting because first, like, I actually think this is some of the most interesting story structure we've gotten, or like it seems really intense. Like his dad is like taken by a local baron to go like use his quote unquote gypsy magic to heal his ailing wife, and the dad's like, I can't do that. That was
the weird thing about that though, like, yeah, that was an interesting like real racism sort of showing up, but we'd also seen Kraven got his powers from a gypsy potion or an African witch doctor potion.
Yes,
it's like it's equally racist, and in this case, it's actually real. And then, as it turns out, there are gypsy potions.
I know. That's when they ruined it for me, because I was really hoping they were going to be like, oh my gosh, this is cool. They're showing like prejudice against the people and thinking that like they're all like these weird magicians, and that's not true. And then we learn his mom's a fucking sorcerer, and like,
and she kept really secret potions.
Yeah, secret potions in a magical chest. I don't know. It was really close to being very cool. And I guess, if we want to go, we're going back in time 60 years. So for going back in time 60 years, it's still really cool, I think. It's a neat backstory. I don't know that I believe Stan Lee's note on the front that says, "We confidently predict you will call this one of the greatest, most memorable origin stories of all time." But I think it was really cool anyway.
I would technically put it up there. Doctor Doom is one of the better origins of the Marvel origins, especially if we're going to go with the like non-retconned, still problematic versions of a lot of these.
Yeah, I mean, what's the Fantastic Four? They were all just like
they went to space.
Scientists who sneaked into a rocket early and went to space like idiots, and then cosmic rays blasted them.
It's an odd one too, because it's also one that they're not so that was one of the retcons is these cosmic rays wound up being like solar flare or something, right? Something that's not a permanent part of our sort of like space ecosystem.
Yeah. Yeah, because like every astronaut would become Fantastic Four if it was all just cosmic rays.
Which is basically what happens every time when they go to space, their powers revert, right? And then
Yeah, exactly.
but they're inconsistent with it, and we've seen other people go into space, like Doctor Doom, who I think also later is retconned to have gotten powers from the same, or maybe that was just in the movies. That I don't remember. It's kind of sometimes hard to keep track of which origin stories are the real ones.
Wait, which movie was he in?
Doctor Doom was in most of the movies, I think, wasn't he?
I don't know. I think he was in the most recent one, that weird reboot that they did with was it Kate Mara? Was she in it?
I don't know. Fantastic. I've never seen a Fantastic Four movie not on an airplane.
I've only seen like the one. I've only seen one of them. I didn't know that there was more than one.
There are 3 Fantastic Four films.
What do you mean?
They have to keep making Fantastic Four, or the rights revert to Marvel. So they just pump out a new one every 4 or 5 years.
Well, of course that was true until Disney bought Fox, and now they just own it.
Now things are sort of coming back under one corporate umbrella.
As God intended.
One company, one God.
Mickey, right? We're talking about Mickey.
And Mickey is Mickey. Our company God. Lord save the long may he reign.
That's why we learn the Pledge of Allegiance, is so we can pledge allegiance to Mickey.
Yeah. It's all just training for the day when Mickey supplants all of our idols, and it's really easy somehow to just sort of shift our practices over to the eared one. Yeah, the other thing that we really get out of that origin story is we learn that as he grew up after losing his dad, he becomes kind of a grifter, and then he goes to college on a scholarship in the U.S. because he lives in Latveria, which we should mention, his own country that supposedly at this point in time is located in the Bavarian Alps, but I think they retcon it later to be more like Romania, Hungary kind of area.
Well, it's actually kind of interesting because I think we are somewhat spoiled in terms of geopolitics because there's been very few new countries or like countries that stop being countries in our lifetime.
Yeah.
I think it may have not been that wild, like that new borders would have been drawn. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't, I think, because Marvel has done this a few times, whether that's Latveria or Wakanda or just some random red country that they don't want to specifically call, call out.
Yeah.
But they've just like completely redone the borders of the Middle East not that long ago in this period. I don't remember when the African borders got drawn. I think it was closer to World War II. Europe has obviously been going through their stuff. So I don't know. Maybe it's less wild to think of just like countries we didn't know about just being there. It seems silly. It seems really silly.
It does. I know. Yeah, we're so like it feels like we live in crazy times, and we certainly do. But like geopolitically, like the borders have been pretty damn stable since we were born.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Latveria is interesting, and he meets Reed and Ben while they're at college. And my favorite thing in the world is that when Reed and Ben become roommates and Ben introduces himself as Ben Grimm, Reed goes, "Oh, Ben Grimm, the touchdown king."
It feels a lot like a JD and Turk sort of roommateship, like one cool guy and one huge dweeb.
Yeah,
the touchdown king.
Can we briefly talk about the villain gallery that's in between those two stories?
Yes,
we can.
Yes,
I was going to say though before we move on from the Doctor Doom origin, I wish we'd spent a little more time with them together at college. That seems like kind of a fun period where Ben Grimm and Reed Richards and Doctor Doom go to college together.
You should tell Disney right now. That's like Monsters University.
I know.
They can capitalize on it.
That'd be great. Like if they were just like, you know what, we're not going to bring Fantastic Four into the movies immediately. We're going to play the long game. Reed Richards, Doctor Doom, and Ben Grimm are in college.
We do a whole TV series that's like one of those like just a total frat show, like a Greek or what are the other ones?
Robot House.
It's Blue Mountain State, but Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, this villain gallery in the middle, Shane.
Talk to me about, you say what you have to say first, because I am probably going to go off on one of these postcards.
Okay, well, there's only two that really caught my eye. And one
Okay.
of them actually shows up in the following story, which I thought was hilarious because I didn't think there was any way they would bring this character back, by which I mean Rama-Tut, the Pharaoh from the future, which is
love him so hard.
bananas. Absolutely crazy. But the one that I think we need to talk about is the Hatemonger.
This is Wall of Shame so hard. This is not the one that I was thinking of. Like this one is also obviously
you want to talk? You want to talk about the alien baby?
No, I don't want to talk about one
okay.
of the villains. Mine centers on one of the heroes.
Oh, okay. Well, really quickly, I just want for people who aren't reading along, I want you to know that the
Holy
Hatemonger looks
shit.
like a Grand Wizard of the KKK from Doctor Strange's Purple Dimension. They just they just put the KKK robe on and colored him purple, and he's named the Hatemonger, and it's really upsetting to look
In
at.
combat boots and chainmail. He has chainmail and combat boots.
Yeah, because there's another character like them, I think, called the White Knight. That's a white KKK guy in armor.
Oh God.
Wait, hang on. The blurb about him, Andy, are you looking at the page right now? Can you
I'm
read the blurb?
currently not. No, I can pull it up.
Okay.
Boy, did we get letters about this character. It's too bad we had to kill him off at the end. Judging by your mail, he might have become one of our most popular villains. Or should we say unpopular villains. Anyway, as we see it, the world is better off without him. There's enough nutty hatred rampant today without anyone else trying to make a career of it.
I kind of love it.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice like little goodbye moment, right? Like,
Yeah. A farewell to Hatemonger.
yeah,
The Hatemonger,
for
this
real.
is your life.
You suck.
So which one did you want to talk about, Shane?
I'm gonna text it to you as we're talking about it. But there is a little picture of Mr. Benjamin J. Grimm,
Oh,
who
right.
is holding.
Who's vacuuming?
He's he looks like he works as a janitor now, which is fine. But he's holding a mine detector. It's an Acme mine detector, and
Yeah.
it's over. It just says like "From your admirers on Yancey Street." And the little like inscription says, "Yours till clobbering time, big-hearted Benjamin J. Grimm." And this whole moment is just
It's really
it is
good.
Something else.
It's
It is
very
something
good.
else.
What's funny is it doesn't see, because we know he hates Yancey Street, and that sort of feud is, I think, kind of unexplored. It's just a gag.
Well, I mean, I think maybe, but we also did skip like 30 issues of Fantastic Four. So
But the other funny thing is that in that picture, we don't really, the Acme mine detector isn't like clearly going off. It just is on. So I like
Yeah.
the idea that we don't actually know what's in the box. He's just kind of being a lunatic, holding a mine detector over a package.
With all the fan mail behind him.
also, he's made of rock. Like, he'd probably be fine.
Do you like
Okay.
the idea that they mailed him a landmine though?
So the other story in the annual that we should talk about, at least briefly, revolves around Latverian berry juice.
Yeah, the Latverian berry juice.
I guess it's just berry juice that makes you hallucinate things, but you can choose what they hallucinate somehow.
The magic of it was quite odd.
And they have there's like a fancy party that he's throwing at the Latvian embassy, and he gets the Fantastic Four to show up because they don't know he's the ruler of Latveria.
What it looked like, because he's saying like they're seeing what I want them to see. I thought it just made them a little bit less. At first, it made them like less able to sort of discern reality, and then he's projecting these holograms. That's sort of what it seems like.
Right, but it
then
definitely doesn't pan out that way.
Then it shifts, and it's like, no, these are just a wizard's dream.
Wake up!
This is
You've
just
been having a
You're having a
wizard's
wizard's dream.
You've been having just a quiet little wizard's dream.
I love this woman that is dancing with and eating food with Ben.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
This opera singer trope that they have thrown him into with her big white gloves and her very like shapely figure. And she's like, "Oh, tell me, Mr. Grimm, how on earth did you become so powerful?"
I just imagine him being like, "Big solar rays, I guess. I'm bad at dancing. And then just like he breaks her foot in half because he's dancing with her and steps on her.
She has the most petite feet still.
I know.
She has baby feet.
Hell, he's been stepping off the ends. Her feet got shorter over the course of the night.
I don't like the idea of calling your toes the ends.
I hate when I
tickling
stub
my
ends.
foot ends. I know we need to talk about the sexism, and we'll do that in a second, but I want to make sure that we give at least a minute to the encephalogun, which is the most confounding invention that I've ever seen in a comic so far. I'm sure that'll be upended, but I don't understand the purpose of this device. It's a double-sided gun, so it's a gun that has two handles.
Was all Dr. Doom's dream. I think that the gun was never real.
Maybe. But the fact that Dr. Doom came up with it is still just mystifying.
It's very odd.
It's a double-sided gun that just connects where the barrel would be. They both got handles, and then there's like weird little like things that connect to their forehead.
It's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but you put your brain to it instead of your thumbs.
And it's like they explicitly say it sends the one with the weaker mind into a timeless limbo from which there is no return. So why would you build this device? It's like a weird Russian roulette.
I know. I believe the entire thing was Dr. Doom's dream, but I don't know. It's hard to say when the dream took over.
Maybe it's good for college parties.
Well, there's a moment where Reed actually like pours the juice in the thing for him. So like Reed actually pours the juice for them to drink, and then the rest of the thing ensues until he leaves, and he's like, "I've won, so I'm leaving." Yeah,
and then it's all been a dream for Dr. Doom, and so that's how they get him out of
And that was
there.
another weird part because it was telegraphed. So I mean, I know it's it's still a kid's comic, and we've got limited page space. For what's supposed to be the two smartest people in the world, Reed came up with a really infantile plot, and then Dr. Doom fell for it.
Yeah. I'll just get him to drink his own juice. This is a juice of a different color, Dr. Doom.
Because if we had spent more time with them in college, we might have known like their history could have some real meaning, and know they
do you
might
think Dr.
share
Doom was their Dr. Doom was their RA? Is that who he is in the show?
He had RA energy for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, when he wasn't trying to do weird dorm room experiments trying to contact the netherworld, he was checking in, making sure they weren't having sex in the dorms.
But there was an opportunity for that to have been, I think, a more somber moment where they might have shared a drink.
Yeah.
It just wasn't there.
No. That's kind of a pattern in at least these 60s comics so far, where like they get really close to something that could have very cool emotional weight and they shy away, or they just don't even think to do it, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know if there's like a perception they're trying to keep where like, these are just kids' rags, but like they don't really go for the hard-hitting stories at all yet.
Well, until Dune comes out in a little while, a good book hasn't been written yet for them to sort of compare to.
I hate this. I hate it.
Okay, somebody talk to me about Reed Richards being the worst man ever.
Hang on, wait. You can't cross over Rory being Dr. Dune. Okay? you can't just pass over Dr. Dune on the other side of the podcast.
Herbert Senpai, notice me. Oh my God.
Someone else talk about how terrible he is, because I have some compliments for Sue Storm when we're done with that.
Okay. We just have to read one quote so that you understand the context. Sue says, "I've been such a fool." And Reed says, "Not a fool, Sue. Merely a female. You couldn't have reacted differently."
Woof. It took what was, until this week's reading, I would say, clearly sexist stuff going on, especially in Fantastic Four, but it's present in other things we're reading.
Yeah.
But felt kind of like a product of both the times and the people it's written by and for. And this felt like it took it too far. Like, yeah. I have no excuse left to give these guys.
Yep.
It's not good. It doesn't feel good. It feels really bad, in fact. It's so consistently out of the mouth of Richards. Like,
yeah,
it's like he's I mean, I get that, like, especially the married life dynamic brings out a lot of, 60s men's sort of antiquated ideas of what marriage should be like. I get that that's the most likely spot for sexism to rear its horrible head, but it almost feels targeted. Like if this was even a little bit later, I'd almost feel like they were trying to say something about it with Reed, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels very honest in a horrible way.
In Spider-Man, you can sort of see what they're going for. This is a sort of male fantasy of all these women being into you, and it's gross, but you understand what the purpose it's trying to serve within the narrative is.
Yep.
And there's just no reason for these just really nasty remarks in Fantastic Four.
But what about Sue, Shane?
So I just love that this was a moment where, when you forget about that, she kind of gets to show off how her powers have evolved, since we did skip so many issues, right?
We did, yeah.
And so I don't remember if it was this one or the other one that we read, where suddenly she doesn't just turn invisible. She goes like, oh, I can send my invisible marbles for you to trip on, and I can make a force field now. And I have
talking about when Sue just chucks pebbles at Dr. Doom?
Yeah, her force pellets, little invisible force pellets.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and she also, and of course, this is true forever. Like, I don't know that she was originally conceived to have this power, but she's got force fields. Like, that's kind of her major thing that she also can do. Like, I think it's sort of one and the same, like an invisible force field that she can conjure that can also turn her invisible.
I think it was an early development. It's not in the first, because we read the first issue and she doesn't demonstrate it. But I think as you realize that
she needs more.
This, yeah, with the power level they've sort of established for these characters, just going away isn't really very helpful.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Shane. She gets some fun moments, even though, like, in issue 31, when they're trying to fight the Mole Man, Reed is constantly being like, I don't want you to come along with us because you're frail and you'll die. And she's like, no, I can fucking do stuff. And he's like,
yeah,
ugh, fine. So I like Sue. And maybe I like Sue more because of how much I'm starting to hate Reed, but I like Sue.
Well, and also she kind of hits him with something, I don't remember the exact line, but that, she's in the Fantastic Four first and his girlfriend second. Like, if these two are conflicting, I'll let you know where I stand right now.
Yeah, I'm part of this goddamn team. It's cool. It's cool. I don't think we need to talk about the Mole Man issue really, except that the cover to issue 31 is maybe the most desperate cover I have seen yet for one of these Marvel issues.
Oh, I don't know that I noticed particularly.
I'm gonna read you the text. All of this text is on the cover. So when I read you like 2 paragraphs of text, understand that's insane for a cover. So here we go. We've got a real surprise for you. Somewhere in this thriller, you'll meet a character, very briefly, whose identity, when you learn it, will come as a real shock to you. Ready? Okay, see if we're right. Hey, never mind how great this story is. Just take a look at our swinging title, The Mad Menace of the Macabre Mole Man. It's like, how long are you going to try and convince me with a paragraph of text to pick up your comic book? Like,
but whose
your
identity
cover's supposed to
did we reveal in this one?
It was their dad.
Oh, that's right.
It was like
we didn't reveal. Because we didn't know it was the dad. That's right.
Yeah.
That's not really a reveal because he's from this issue.
Exactly. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, it was crazy desperate to me. It made me laugh out loud. It's like, good God. You want to take like 30 seconds to talk about Doctor Strange? Everybody get one hot take. Shane.
Mordo looks like he's wearing a bald cap.
I'll see if I can get it to 30 seconds. I thought
I have that written down.
Sort of consistently, at least, so even more so with this week, were interesting premises. Well, I liked the spooky house from last week, as well as the Nightmare Zone. So we're about anyway, my point was going to be, they're consistently coming up with kind of an interesting little elevator pitch for that week, and then just fumbling the writing. Like, the Loki one could have been good. As
oh my gosh,
I also thought the like
so
weird
sad.
woman, this like weird
Cleopatra.
time displaced woman who just turns out to be Cleopatra for no reason, and they send her home no problem.
Such an anticlimax.
It's a really bad ending.
But they did send Loki to Purple Town.
They did send Loki to the Purple Dimension.
Purple Dimension. because we can't let go of the purple dimension. God, in Seattle, so we live in Seattle. There's a store, or there was a store on Aurora Avenue called the Purple Store for the longest time, and everything they sold inside was purple. And that's the only thing I can think about when I think of the purple dimension is walking into this bizarre store. Okay, my thought is that I got really confused about lore about Hoggoth and Vishanti because he keeps. You may have noticed I've been trying to shoehorn some of his bullshit sayings into our outro, our little sign off for our show. But he always talks about the hoary hosts of Hoggoth, or like the power of the Vishanti. And there's this little quote: Doctor Strange will be back in next month's Strange Tales, just as sure as every little Hoggoth grows up to be a deathless Vishanti. And I'm just confused now about what we're talking about, because I thought those were both gods, but maybe little Hoggoths are like kids. they're just pre-Vishantis. I don't understand. That's my only hot take. Doctor Strange is a nothing burger. Let's talk about Spider.
All right, steer the train towards Spider-Man, Andy. Get us started.
Choo choo. We meet Green Goblin for the first time. How do you feel about him?
He's kind of dumb at the beginning, although they are teasing an identity that I'm interested in, because it's funny how we're looking at these things and it's hard to tell what is just shit being thrown against the wall to see what sticks and what has been meticulously planned. So, for example, Green Goblin's identity they're clearly teasing is going to be important,
right? But we have no context for his identity yet.
No, not if it's going to be what's his face.
Well, it's Norman Osborn.
Norman Osborn, yeah, from the very beginning.
And like the whole context with why that's interesting is that his son Harry Osborn is a college classmate of Peter's, and that's like he's like one of his friends, and so like that's where the drama comes from, and that's why it's supposed to be a reveal. So when we haven't even met Harry, it definitely feels like they don't know who the reveal is supposed to be. They're just trying to tease a reveal and hope they figure it out later.
And similarly, this Mary Jane character who is consistently teased as this like odd sickly girl who Aunt May thinks Peter. Which I think is kind of funny, because she keeps getting sick at the beginning, and I don't know if she's flaking on these dates or if she's as sickly as Peter is supposed to be. Like, is that my belief? Mm-hmm. Like, is she just trying to set up these two like bubble kids?
I just think it's really funny that like Aunt May is so doggedly trying to set these two up.
She's pretty awful.
Their friend, like Aunt May's neighbor, Mary Jane, is their niece. And so I guess she's just like, it'd be nice if Peter dated the niece of my friend. But when Peter's like, Aunt May, I have a girlfriend, her only response is, well, you're not really engaged or anything.
You're not. I see a ring on that finger.
Aunt May's just like, play the fucking field, sow those wild oats, kid.
But interestingly, it's actually kind of one of the lesser problematic incarnations of this relationship. Like, he's not some weird love-struck horn dog who just watches her through the window for years.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Years. He just watches, he spies on her.
I always thought the Tobey Maguire MJ dynamic was really weird.
Because it's not cool. It's not cool to just spy on people. I don't know if that needs to be said.
It's not cool to watch from afar.
Yeah, so we had 2 issues with Green Goblin. Who else did we have? The other villains that we had for Spider-Man this week.
One of the Enforcers.
Oh, no, we had all 3. We had all 3 of the Enforcers.
All the Enforcers.
One issue of the Enforcers.
Oh, one issue. We had the Chameleon. We had Kraven the Hunter, and we had the Ringmaster.
I saw you trying to train past Kraven, Andy.
Oh, sorry. Did we miss your stop?
You missed my stop because I wanted to get off at Tiger King Station. Thank you. I needed to get off at Tiger King Station specifically for me.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Kraven's character design? Just for
Kraven
I want you to take care of that.
Kraven's a thirst trap.
A thirsty he is like, this is where Cats came from. He is the musical Cats as a comic book character. He is a gorilla wrestling potion using cat's character.
Oh god, there's a panel when all of the animals escape because he came on some like zoo boat from Africa. And in all the excitement about Kraven's arrival, who was, I guess, already, pre-famous, the animals escape. There's one where he's just, like, throwing cobras into a jar.
Yeah, he chucks cobras and suplexes gorillas, and we're supposed to just, like, not be attracted
Not
to
have a
Kraven?
boner?
Yeah,
Not
we're like, that's the hottest thing I've literally ever seen in my whole life.
God, and this is a weird thing for me to say, but Kraven's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains.
I was really entertained by the entire Kraven issue. It was silly and a little not dramatic, but like the pacing was really good for the whole thing.
Yeah, and I like the dynamic, even if it sort of devolves into just like, chase nonsense for several pages, and you're like, okay, cool. Oh, I laid a trap for you. Oh, I got out of the trap. Like, it's still really nice to have someone, because Peter's whole deal is that he can get out of shit real fast, and he's really slippery, and like, he beats bad guys in like one-on-one like showdowns. And what's really nice about Kraven is that Kraven's just good enough and just like he tracks well enough, and he's got like these poisons that he uses to fuck up Spider-Man. He's just enough of a problem that it becomes like a real chase. Like Spider-Man's on the defense, and I think that's really cool. I like that dynamic a lot, and not a ton of his rogues gallery can actually put him on defense.
Kraven's fun too because he's kind of a Namor-like. He's sort of morally gray, dark gray, but like he's not. He's just a guy who can be bought,
Right.
Yeah, he's a hunter, and it's not necessarily that he's trying to do evil. It's the thrill of the hunt that pulls him towards Spider-Man, right?
Yeah. Man is the most dangerous game. Oh wait, there's a Spider-Man? Fuck. I'm on a boat. I'm on a zoo boat right now.
I'll meet you at the port. I'm getting on the zoo boat.
Is it J. Jonah Jameson who's like, hey, you're in America, bud. You can't just hunt man.
I mean,
We'll
basically, he goes, yeah, okay, whatever, dude. It's called diplomatic immunity.
I'll fucking hunt you. Don't even push me.
When he couldn't get any hotter, he threatens to hunt you like an animal.
Yeah, so I would say the Kraven issue is a real highlight. There's also, I did enjoy the issue with Daredevil and the Ringmaster.
Me too.
That one was amazing.
I really liked it, even though the Ringmaster is dumb. He's nothing. He's a villain that was introduced in the Hulk title, which has, by the way, already been canceled. Hulk has been put back into his Tales to Astonish hole. Or was it Tales to Astonish? Doesn't even matter. He's been put back into another hole because apparently his title didn't sell well enough. But they took the Ringmaster and they shoved him into this. And the whole deal is that he's done like a false advertising thing saying, yeah, totally, Spider-Man's going to be in the circus tonight, just trying to sell tickets. And Peter sees it and he's like, fuck it, I'll show up and be Spider-Man at the circus. And meanwhile, Matt, Foggy, and Karen from Daredevil, which, last week, 2 weeks ago, we read issue 1 of, they independently decide to go to the circus. And so when things inevitably go south because the Ringmaster's trying to like hypnotize everybody and I guess maybe just like steal all their money. I'm not really sure what his actual plan was.
He's trying to get them to sit through the whole show because people are about to walk out.
My master plan is to just, somebody please watch my circus.
The circus can just, at this time, the circus can just come to New York City. And also grown-ups will just take time off from work to go to the circus.
Yeah, not a lot of children in that crowd.
No. There's a fun angle where, of course, Matt Murdock being blind, Daredevil's famously blind and he can hear really well. He sort of learns to recognize Spider-Man's like heartbeat. And so, he's acutely aware of what's going on. And then the Ringmaster's hypnosis powers are visual. And so everyone else gets whammied, but Daredevil's blind, so he's totally fine. And so like he sort of like hypnotizes Spider-Man to fight Daredevil, and so there's that fun showdown for a little bit. But I liked that because it wasn't one of these like really hackneyed like, oh, I've told a lie and now I'm gonna fight him for no reason. It was like, yeah, okay, he's hypnotized. This is a fun way to get two heroes to fight. You know?
Yeah.
I think if I was growing up in the 60s, when this comic came out, if I had not already had my gay sexual awakening, this specific issue would be the one.
We're seeing quite a bit more spider buns than I think we did in the first few weeks.
It's
The
true.
I mean,
the bud has
between
been on
him
this-
and between Daredevil.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. Daredevil is very
Daredevil is-
shapely.
The Daredevil costume is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
the old school Daredevil costume has a certain flair.
Yeah, it's the contrast of the yellow and the black together that makes him literally jump off the page. Like you
It's
can
so
look
good.
at any of these pages, and the first thing you are pulled to is his rippling muscles coming out of that little leotard he's wearing.
Yeah, he's got it going on.
It's incredible.
I gotta say, my favorite moment in that issue, it wasn't cinematic on the page, but like what it made in my head was very cinematic when I read it. Where like Spidey finally beats him, he beats the Ringmaster, and Daredevil's changed back into Matt Murdock so that he's not suspiciously somewhere else, and he's sitting back in the crowd at this point. And because everyone else in the whole room and the whole big top is whammied, when Spider-Man wins, Daredevil cheers and claps. But because it's all echoey, like Spider-Man can't tell where it's coming from. He's like, oh, that must be Daredevil. Which one is he? I can't even fucking tell. And there's something really nice about that, where like just imagining a huge circus full of silent people and just one guy being like, nice job, Spider-Man. Like, I don't know. It's kind of cool. There's something really cool about it to me, and I couldn't really put my finger on it, but I just wanted to make sure I mentioned it. It was nice.
I feel that.
Do you love how he like sneaks back into the audience too? Where that panel of him sneaking back into the audience, everyone is still just staring forward with their mouth open and their eyes wide. And he's like slowly crawling over a little banister to get back to his seat.
It's funny seeing things that also kind of get phased out of a character for being clearly a bad idea, but they just haven't quite they're not on the same page yet. Like, so for
cane?
example, Daredevil's cane. Yeah, he's still using his blind guy cane as like a weaponized, which I guess I feel like is kind of trying to do the same thing as the whole secret identity thing. Like take something that is a hardship for a person and convert it into a weapon or like some sort of empowerment, symbol. But the cane is just fucking dumb. It's just really dumb.
And he I don't know, hooks the hook part of the cane around like
they do so much trying to sell it as like worthwhile. Like, look how good my blind guy cane can hook poles and let me swing on things.
Hey Shane,
Tell me.
you know what I want from you. You got us a fuck, marry, kill today.
So my fuck, marry, kill today is Rama Tut.
Oh, the Pharaoh for the future.
Kraven, obviously.
Yeah.
And also, there's a character in that Spider-Man that we were just talking about that we kind of glossed over, but his name is the Great Gambino. And he's the guy who gets shot out of the cannon and he's dressed as a bullet.
Oh yeah, the cannon guy.
And he goes, just point me at him. Just point me at him.
I could do this. Okay.
I think I kill Ramatut. I just don't know enough about him. He does wear revealing clothes, but
Yes, he does.
If you accept that you have to fuck Kraven, if that's just a given,
I think that's a given.
One night with
no way
Kraven,
around it.
one night in Kraven. Then
Are you a Kraven Claw,
Oh,
Rory?
I guess I am today. And also, I think you marry the Great Gambino because he looks like he doesn't like. The Great Gambino was gonna try hard. He's gonna get, and he's gonna, So I think that's my order.
He's
Yes.
a working man.
He's a working man.
now I know. I basically agree with you, but I do want to put forward the idea that Rama Tut, the pharaoh from the future, is from the future. So if you marry him, you might get some sweet, sweet tips.
Oh, he might know who won though. He might know who won the World Series a bunch of times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So, there might be some serious happiness potential if happiness equals money, which it does, I feel, in 2020.
Okay.
But no, I think you're right. I think we got to kill Ramatut, fuck Kraven, and marry the Great Gambino. That is pretty much the way it's got to be.
If you think you could handle, being married to Kraven, then you could swap him, I guess.
Oh, I married Kraven.
You could tame the Great Kraven.
I tame that beast.
Shane just wants to look. Shane wants a nice art piece to hang out with for the rest of his life.
Listen. I don't understand why that. Let's talk about fuck, marry, kill. Let's break down fuck, marry, kill. Are you
break this down?
Are you saying to me, people who invented this toxic masculine game where you have to pick someone to fuck and marry and kill, fucking is not included in marrying someone?
Yeah, that's always been my question.
We're implying, to me, the implication is once was enough.
For fuck.
And also maybe that in marriage, well, you might include that as part of the puzzle. You're gonna have to prepare for some dry spells. Life is. So if you don't want to be around Kraven without the benefits, then that's worth considering.
It's true. Someone's only your slam piece.
If a Kraven who's not putting out is not a Kraven you want to hang with.
Yeah, I think that's real, and I don't know that I'd want to be married to Kraven. So I think I stand by it.
Okay,
he's gonna leave you for months at a time to go hunt.
Man.
Yeah, but Ramatut is gonna like go back to the future and peace out and leave you.
Yeah, and he's gonna win every argument, and that's gonna be annoying.
I already know how this argument ends.
Yeah, exactly. I already know what happened.
Oh my god. Hey, I think that's gonna do it for us today. This is really fun. Thanks you guys. Thanks for listening. Thank my two hosts for being so wonderful. By the shades of the seraphim, by the 7 rings of Ragador. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.